A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you another book review today. So cheers, some nice Goose Island IPA. That is a delicious beer. Now today I'm bringing you the second book in a trilogy that I started a while ago. It's taken me a while to get through the second book just because of, life stuff. But I'm looking at The Coral Kingdom by Douglas Niles, book 2 in the Druidhome Trilogy. This is the second trilogy of books set around the Moonshade Isles. I've already reviewed the first trilogy, Darkwalker on Moonshade, The Black Wizards, and Darkwell. The first book, Prophet of Moonshade, in this trilogy, you can find the video way back. And I finally got around to finishing the second book. Now, why did it take me so long? Life stuff, work stuff, all of that. Plus, I was reading better books. And quite frankly, this one was a little bit on the boring side for a Dungeons and Dragons novel. Yeah, I said boring. You enjoyed it? You want to be in the video? No? Okay. Now you can see on the cover we have High King Tristan Kendrick, his wife Robin, and their daughter Alicia there. A beautiful, beautiful cover. And we've got kind of treasure and other stuff all going on. Now, the Coral Kingdom follows on after the events of Prophet of Moonshade. All the same characters are back. We've got a huge cast of them. We have Tristan, Robin, Alicia, Deirdre. Alicia is their daughter, and so is Deirdre. We've got Keen, the wizard, who is Alicia and Deirdre's tutor. We've got the bard Tavish. We've got the Northman Brandon, Hanrold. We have Bridget, the elf warrior. So everyone kind of comes back, and if you have no idea who any of these characters are, then you're pretty much fucked reading this book, because you really do need to kind of read the first one. And that's the same for a lot of trilogies, although sometimes the second and third books can stand on their own. The enemies in this one are, once again, Talos, the god of storms. We have Malar, the beast lord, who is one of my favorite kind of demigods in all of Forgotten Realms. We have, and I honestly couldn't believe this when I read it, Ityakotheel, otherwise known as the Elf Eater, this giant turtle thing that just wants to kill elves. Freaking awesome. The statistics, if you want the D&D stats, they can be found in the 3rd edition source book, Lords of Evil. Who else have we got? We've got Malawar, who has come back in his form. We've got the Sawegan King. Those of you who don't know what Sawegans are, they're fishmen. We've got the Scrag King. For those of you that don't know what Scrags are, they're sea trolls. Same as regular trolls, but they live underwater. And for some reason, you still need fire to kill them. So there you go. A lot is going on in this book. Sometimes a little too much. And that's why in certain parts it does get a little bit boring. We also have a merman prince towards the end, but that's an aside. So, did I enjoy the Coral Kingdom? Yes and no. It was fun in parts. I am looking forward to starting the third book of the trilogy so I can review it for you. As far as Dungeons and Dragons novels goes, especially early Dungeons and Dragons novels, like this was written in the 90s, there are better ones out there. It was fun. We got to see some places that we otherwise wouldn't. I like the concept of the Coral Kingdom. I thought that was really, really wicked. But, yeah, this was just people going from point A to point B to point C. And there you have it, with a little bit of an anticlimactic ending. But you know what? That's fine. I honestly don't mind. I will continue reading these books. I do enjoy them, even though you cannot classify them as like high literature. But who fucking cares? If I enjoy them, that's all that matters. So, if you want to know what happens in the story, stick around. If you don't and you want to go and read this for yourself, you can get the trilogy on Kindle. It's fairly cheap, as all the old D&D books are. That I really do appreciate. Go out there, read it for yourself, and make up your own mind. But if you want to know exactly what happens, more or less, stick around for the next episode of...
Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. People.
This book picks up a little bit after Prophet of Moonshade. Everyone's a little older. They're a little wiser. They're starting to get hair in really weird places. Wayne's World reference, of course. Actually, Wayne's World 2 reference. I apologize for that misspoken movie quote. Now, Tristan has gone off on a trip. Because of all the storms and whatnot, he is going to Waterdeep in order to kind of secure food and things like that. And he goes missing. They presume that he is dead. His ship was sunk. And so his wife and daughters, well, one daughter, because Deirdre's a fucking bitch, are basically mourning him. And then during this festival, Maliwa appears with a left hand, and Robin recognizes the rings on the hand as being from her husband. And Maliwa tells her, your husband is still alive. This is what we want. And kind of gives her an ultimatum. They decide that they need to go and rescue Tristan. They believe he is in the Coral Kingdom, which is this undersea realm, so to speak. And they need help. They basically need the help of the elves. The elves on the Moonshade Isles live in this place called Sonoria. It's cut off from most of the land via magic, although if you've read the first trilogy, Darkwalker and Black Wizards and Darkwell, you know that Tristan and Robin and all of that kind of went there. So they decide to go there to seek help from the elves. So we have Robin, Alicia, Keen, Tavish the Bard, and of course, Poldo, who is Mayor of Low Hill, the halfling settlement outside of Caer Corwell. As they travel there, unbeknownst to them, Talos and Malar have sent the Elf Eater into Sonoria via these magical portals that the elves have kind of created in order for them to get all over the place. More importantly, it's their way to get to Evermeet. Now, Evermeet is this island realm, a haven that the elves have kind of created for themselves off from the mainland so that they can be protected. Think of this very similar to the place that Elrond and the Elves of Rivendell are kind of heading to at the end of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The Elf Eater has managed to kind of find a way to use these portals and, more importantly, to destroy the portals. The Elf Eater gets into Sonoria and starts wreaking absolute havoc, just massacring everyone it can find. Bridget, who we met in the first trilogy, tries her best to fight it off, and there's this whole kind of back and forth. At the same time, our heroes manage to get to Sonoria as the Elf Eater is attacking, and they go there and they try to stop the Elf Eater. But ultimately, one of them loses their life, and that is Poldo the Halfling. In trying to save Bridget, Poldo ultimately is eaten by the Elf Eater, which is weird because he's a halfling, but whatever, it just eats whatever it fucking wants. They manage to actually banish this thing with the help of Deirdre, who has been watching it through her magic mirror, which she got in the first book of this trilogy. And they meet the elves and ask them to help kind of get them to Evermeet. I forgot to mention, I believe Hanrold is with them, and Brandon the Northman is with them as well. So basically everyone is fucking there. The elves of Sonoria are kind of hesitant, but they do say that they will help them get to Evermeet. Bridget decides to guide them because Evermeet, as an island, is guarded by these magical kind of protective barriers and whatnot. And so Bridget decides to sail with them. Brandon, the Northman, has this new ship built that he christens Princess of Moonshade after Alicia because he's in love with her. And so they start sailing to get to Evermeet, but the bad guys, Talos, the god Talos, and Malar, the Beast Lord, kind of know what they're up to. By the way, Deirdre isn't sailing with them. She's looking after the kingdom while they're gone. The evil gods know what they're up to and basically send a huge army of Sahuagin and Scrags after them. And there's kind of water battles and all this really cool piratey type shit happens. And they get to Evermeet, and it's basically protected by these giant water spout tornado things, and they have to navigate through them and whatnot, and they manage to do it with the help of Robin, who uses her druid powers, which have come back now that she's no longer a priestess of Shantia because the goddess has returned. And they manage to get to Evermeet, where they meet the elves, and the elves are really fucking anti-human, like, you guys are fucked, we're not helping you, but then they slowly come around, and they decide to help them by giving them this artifact. It's a helmet that they can put on the figurehead of the ship and allows the ship to dive underwater, and people on the ship can breathe, and that will get them to the Coral Kingdom. In the meantime, we find out that Tristan is alive. He's been drugged. He's kind of lost his memories a little bit, and he's in this airtight cave. He realizes what's been done to him, so he stops kind of drinking this potion that they give him, the Sahuagin give him, and he ends up managing to find a tunnel that leads to another prison cell where there's a merman, and he helps the merman kind of escape, and all that is going on while his family are sailing to the Coral Kingdom, they kind of go underwater, and there's more battles, and there's a giant squid now, and all this kind of stuff. There's also a battle with a dragon turtle, which I thought was like back in the day, I thought was like, oh, the dumbest thing ever is a giant dragon turtle that lives underwater. But in this book, it's really fucking cool. So they managed to get there to the Coral Kingdom, and the elves have given Keen these spells that will help him. Basically, a spell of free movement and water breathing, which he casts on Hanrold and Bridget, and they lead a diversion off. So they kind of lead all these Suegan and Scrags away from the ship, so the ship can actually get down. And as it gets down to the city, the giant squid, which is the avatar of Talos, the guy Malawar from the first book, is fucking attacking everyone. It's killed the Suegan king because the Suegan king failed in his job to keep Tristan in prison. And then there's this huge fucking battle, and Tristan sees the ship and realizes his family's come to save him, and he manages to get on it. And then the prince of the merfolk brings back an army, and then the army attacks the fish folk with the trolls. Hanrald is almost killed, but Bridget manages to get him to the ship just in time before the water breathing spell runs out. And it's really fucking tense, and it really ramps up. And the ending of this book is so fucking cool that it just pisses me off the way it kind of ultimately ends. The gods lose. Tristan is reunited with his family. The ship manages to get back above surface level so everyone can kind of breathe again because the magic of the artifact is running out. And Deirdre has been watching what's going on through this magic mirror, and she realizes the giant squid is Malawar, the guy that fucked her over. So she teleports to the ship as the giant squid is attacking, and she realizes she knows Malawar's actual name, which was given to her by the god Talos. And she says it, the mirror shatters, all the glass shards kind of hit the squid, and then as they destroy the squid, they come flying back and go right into Deirdre. And so now Deirdre has this avatar power within her, although in the third book, we will find out how that actually kind of plays out. When they're back above water, Keen decides now's the time to tell Alicia that I'm in love with her. And just as he's about to say it, Brandon cockblocks him, and Alicia walks away, and that's where the story ends. So Keen, the character that has basically held everyone together for the first two books of this fucking trilogy, gets cockblocked by a Northman captain who thinks he's the fucking shit. He's like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or whatever. So, oh God, I just wanted Keen to tell her. That's all I wanted. I wanted Keen to tell her, and she can make up her own mind. I don't give a fuck who she marries. That doesn't bother me. I just want Keen to fucking tell her he's in love with her. It's not that difficult. Although, if I was reading this as a teenager, yeah, it actually really is. But, you know, there you have it. That, in a nutshell, is The Coral Kingdom by Douglas Niles. Now, I said in the beginning of this video that I found it a little bit boring. I did. The middle drags a lot where they're just traveling from here to there, from here to there. But there are moments in this book where they're just so action-packed, where characters die or characters are wounded and you think they're going to die, and it just amps everything up. And while it wasn't the Empire Strikes Back level of awesomeness that you want in the second part of a trilogy, it's pretty cool. I mean, I enjoyed it. It just took me a long time because of the boring parts. I'm not going to say that it was a bad book. It certainly wasn't. But it was, you know, fun, as the old D&D novels always are. So, there you have it. The Coral Kingdom by Douglas Niles. Again, love the cover. I believe it's a Clyde Caldwell cover, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but it seems like his art style. Just absolutely beautiful. If you enjoyed the video, everyone, like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all the YouTube stuff, have a drink. Go and track down some of these old Dungeons and Dragons novels from back when it was TSR and early Wizards of the Coast. You are not going to be disappointed. But most importantly, stay safe. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And of course, read a fucking book, people.